Right, let's see here. Hey there. I'm just putting together the lesson for today here. We're going to do dyads. I don't know why they're not called byads. Except I guess that's what you do when you're trying to sell something. So let's see. I got a lot of things open right now. I got to close a couple things. I'm going to go to, okay, I got to do this. Got that. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, hybrid keys, where's that? Where's the hybrid keys things? Okay, so there's ozone. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. So where's everybody? Is this not working? Do we have liftoff? I see green, streaming, end stream. Okay. Is it because I don't have a guitar in my hand? I got to sit back a little bit. My office is a complete mess. Hey, John. Okay. So there's actually human life out there. Just a couple people though. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for some people to show up. Oh, I need to go. I should go to. I'm right on time, so that's messing everybody up. Yeah, so it's like, and I'm in the middle of downloading, uploading, and all that stuff. So, general. All right. So see if anybody gets that. Loud and clear. All right. Guitar is my video. Oh, hey, Gary. I forgot that was your alternative handle. Let's see. I'm going to move this window over here, I think. Can I make this window smaller? Okay. So Aslan's in class, but he got the message. That's funny. All right. I read how to install. I have native access. Okay, well, we got some people here. Let's see, what else can I quit? I can quit Adobe. I can quit Numbers. Oh, did I quit the wrong thing? You want to make sure I don't quit the wrong. Let's see. So how's everyone doing? Everybody say hi to each other and good morning and everything. I've been so busy. My office is just a mess. Okay. All right. Why are you saying it has to be repaired? Not install. Here we go. Install. Yeah, I moved a bunch of stuff around. Yeah, I don't need that. Update. Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this software doesn't know where I moved everything. That's funny. But that's good to know. Oh, cannot close right now. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lena. So, did everybody see? I actually posted the this lesson. I think on Sunday, right? Did you guys see that? And I think this is kind of cool. I'm ultimately going to end up with a music reading book out of all of this, aren't I? Which is kind of, my thing is like, if you're looking for things to practice, create something to practice. Oh dang! I forgot to eat my power bar. Create something to practice, and you've done two things. You've you've learned whatever you're trying to learn, and you've created content. I'm not going to finish that power bar. See, double coil. PRSs. See, I think I've got my level too loud here. Sorry. PRSs are kind of. I have a PRS, and I have my PRS is Paul Reed Smith is what PRS stands for. My Paul Reed Smith is a McCarty model. And it has soap bars. I wanted a guitar with soap bars, and I was looking at vintage ones, and I ended up getting this one. And I realized soap bars are just basically single coils, and so they're noisy, and I don't really use it very often. In fact, currently I have baritone strings on it, which hopefully won't damage the neck. But I've got it tuned to open C, and it sounds glorious. Open C, like an open C, like an E chord moved down two whole steps, like open D, common tuning for slide. And the Landreth guy, what's his name? Not Sonny Landreth, but the other Landreth slide player. I can't think of his name. Great player. That's one of his tunings that he uses, and I really like the way it sounded. So I did that with my Paul Reed Smith. But it was too noisy for session work. Just the buzz and the hum and everything. So I really never used it, which is sad. But the thing is, as soon as I got that Paul Reed Smith, man, that thing, it was like super light. I felt like I could fly on stage with it. I really felt like I could do backflips or whatever. And it totally reminded me of a Les Paul Special. The way a Les Paul Special, the neck felt very much like a Les Paul Special. I think that, I always felt like Paul Reed Smiths were kind of a morph between a Strat and a Les Paul. Like before morphing software existed, if you were to do kind of a pen and pencil sketch of a Les Paul and a Strat, and then just kind of slowly go from one to the other. It was kind of one of the middle drawings, like Picasso used to do. He would create morphing pictures before morphing was a thing. Picasso did that, but because the body is so light and thin, I think that gives it a much brighter tone. So there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But I would be, you could probably get like an EQ, like one of those Boss, what is it, 6, it's actually 7 faders, but one is a volume. The graphic EQ, you could get something like that and darken it up. And anything you do is going to be kind of artificial sounding. The other thing is, do you have Elixir strings on it? Because Elixir strings sound darker, so they're more expensive, but they will last longer, and so they'll probably be worth it. So who was asking me about the Paul Reed Smith? I totally forgot. Here we go. I got to move this over. Oh, John. Yeah, John. So I would try it at first. I would try changing the strings out and using elixirs. And then you can also, a lot of players don't do this, myself included, but I see some great players. I know great players that will spend a lot of time adjusting their tone knob on their guitar. So you might find that sweet spot on that tone knob because some tone knobs, and I guarantee you that guitar's not active, okay? An active guitar will often have a detente, which is a little bump in the halfway point of the knob, and so that it's a plus and minus kind of thing, and then they have another one for a bass. So the detente is 0, and then if you go above, it's +5, and you go below, it's -5 or whatever, however you want to think about it. That's an active guitar, okay? Normally, the reason I keep my tone knobs all the way up is because and I can't think of the term for it, dang it. I know one of you knows it. But tone knobs on an electric guitar generally are reductive. you're rolling off bass or you're rolling off treble. So if you've got a bass, and I'm not even sure, I think these are both treble, but for different pickups. But if you start to roll off the tone knob a little bit, maybe 20%, you might get to that sweet spot. So, you just find that chord or that sound that you're like, just play that B minor chord, and let it till you get the sound you want. Maybe with distortion too, because when you start to roll off the tone, you're going to start to lose some gain. And so the gain level is going to go down. That means you're going to be driving amps and distortions a little bit softer. So it can also create problems. Telecasters are kind of famous for if you roll off the volume, they get really thin sounding. And so I actually have, in my Telecaster, I have my guitar tech put a filter cap in there that, I don't know if it's a filter cap, a capacitor maybe. I can't remember which, but I'm not technical. I need to tune the top 2 strings. And also, I may need to take off a little early. We've got a fountain in our courtyard area, or back porch. And I couldn't believe how heavy that thing was. It's 3 pieces. It's one of those fountains against the wall. And the pump went bad. So I bought a new pump. And I tried to take it down myself and almost had the whole thing fall on me. It would have crushed me to death. I had no idea this thing was so heavy. Oh, thank you, John. I had no idea this thing was so freaking heavy. So, sorry, I'm trying to catch up on it. Hey, no worries, John. You got any more questions? And so they show. I had them take it apart. Like between the 3 of us, the 2 gardeners and myself, we were able to get the pieces down onto the ground, and then I replaced the pump, cleaned everything, got everything. I don't feel like it's wired very well, but I think we're okay. There's no exposed wires, but I just don't like the way it's wired. I thought about having an electrician come out, and I went, we'll see. I never had any problems with it before, but anyway, so. I got the pump replaced. So if the gardeners show up, if I can catch them before they leave, I'll have them help me put it back together. So it's all ready to go back together. So, okay, Holly will be like, no worries. Okay, so this is kind of an exciting lesson in some ways. I know personally, I get a little bit flustered when I see stacked chords, especially early on. When I see stacked notes that are chord, it can be like a little intimidating. I feel like this is really cool because it's 2 notes. So 2 notes, dyad should be fairly with 6 notes that you already know. And I kept it as simple as I could. Okay, there are quarter notes, but there are rests in between them. So the bottom section where you see those rests down there, those quarter notes, bar 33 to 40, that's going to be like a little mini reggae song, okay? And reggae often would only use the top 2 or 3 strings. So it, it'll give you a sense of what it would look like if you were to see it written. And that's actually something, that rhythm right there is very, very common. I'm in the middle of a lot of work right now, which is huge. It's great. The thing I was telling you I was going to start, I haven't started yet, which makes me like, okay, when that happens, it's going to be a slow transition. Because I work for I can't really talk about it. Shoot. When he announces it, I'll announce it. But I'm not going to announce it till he announces it. So, but I'm kind of taking over a job for somebody else. So I'll be taking basically one of my boss's jobs. He's giving me his job because he's got too many jobs. We just started another one yesterday, 2 days ago. He has so many gigs. It's unbelievable. And I love hanging out with all of you. I almost wish we could do this in person. I mean, that would be fun. It'd be impossible to do this via Zoom, though. But no worries, Matthew. Now this reading has probably all been pretty darn easy for Pepper, because Pepper can actually read pretty good, I think, unless you're doing all that music, that classical guitar music in tab. My nephew, by the way, Tony Tibbetts. I think Tony Tibbetts. What did I say it was? Tony Tibbetts at gmail.com. Hold on a second. Let me just confirm that, because you guys, if you want to do Zoom lessons, I think, is he $50 an hour? I don't know. He's in Connecticut. Oh, Tony J. Tibbetts at gmail.com. I'm going to copy and paste this. My nephew, he went to graduate from Berkeley in Boston. And if you contact him, tell him you got the number from me. He'll appreciate that. But he kind of blowing me away. He didn't really start playing guitar till he was like 16, and it was a lot of the reason he started playing guitar was because of his cousin Alex was getting, my son Alex was getting so good. Yeah, this is Gibson Dove. Yeah, my Martin's in the shop. My Martin's just. I should have put in a shop 2 years ago, but I just keep delaying. John, your live chat money's running out. You see the little, I don't know, it's so funny. It has that little countdown thing, but it's taking longer. So I guess the bigger amount of money you put in there, the slower it moves. Lena, thank you for the tip. Lena's went faster than this one, so it's funny. See if somebody can go slower than that. I'm just kidding. Okay, Alan Floyd, good to see you. Sam Stamos. Hey, come on, English, please. Okay, so if you remember, we have 6 notes. We have open. Let's start on the B string. I feel like I need more light. I don't know if this will last as long as. I'll be able to see everything, but that's actually better. It's in my eyes a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, we have B, C, D, and then E, F, G. And B was you can see the B right there. On the very first note of the music is B, and the second note is E. So those are our 2 open strings. So the way you would read that is 2, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, would you do that with me right now? Play the open B string, 2, E, 4. Both of them together, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be hard for me to telegraph. The chords. Okay, I think my metronome is totally different tempo now. Yeah, we were using 75. 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so then you'll notice. So what I did was I basically went up the B string, and then the next time I went. So I didn't do that one. That's funny. I did all those. I think all the permutations I got in there. Let's see. What's John? Oh, yeah. The second. Yeah, measures 33 through 40 those are quarter note rests. They kind of always thought they looked like the number 3, kind of. Okay, so the next bar, let's see, bar 3, we have a C and an E, and then we're gonna play that. And then we have a D and an E. So basically, I used the open E string, and against that, I climbed up the B string, like that. And then I went with the F on the top string and did the same thing on the B string, climbed up the B string. And then I went with the G on the E string up here and did the same thing. So we ended up with three different notes starting, or three different chords starting with this one or open, and then three with this one and three with this one. Okay, I'm making it more confusing than it really is. All right, so, and you can see I put bar markers in there this time. I remember to do that. So sometimes it's 8 bars, sometimes it's 6 bars. So the first phrase is B to E, and then it's C to E. So play C and E, and then play them together, and then D and E. Okay? Like that, all right? What is it? There we go. Weird. Oh, that's right, because it's E7. This applies to the E7. All right, so again, we have B and E, C and E, and I know you want to go to the C sharp. We're not doing it. We're going to D natural. Okay? All right, so here we go. Let's see. I'm going to play. So we're going to the bar line, the double bar line at the end of bar 6. So we're just playing the first 6 bars. And I'm just going to loop this. 2, 3, 4. 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, back to the top. 4, open. 2, 3, 4, C and E. 2, 3, D and E. 2, 3, 4 to the top, B and E. 2 open strings. 2, 3, 4, C and E. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Good. Okay. So wait. Yeah, this is a dove, not, yeah, he even says dove. They don't really, hummingbirds are much more common, but one of the things about the dove is it has a giant bridge, and it's spruce top, but it's maple back and sides, which makes it pretty projecting. That's why I bought it. The story behind that is that I was looking for the loudest. I didn't own a steel string. I was looking for the loudest guitar I could find. And I played 100 guitars, and just because of what I was using, was leading worship in a Sunday school class with 100 people and no PA system. I figured I needed a loud guitar, so I just, I had a budget, and I got it was $1,000. Of course, I bought it in 1990, so I think they go for, if you find one, I don't know if they make them new. Do they still make them new? I think they're like $3,000 or something like that. So, and it was brand new when I bought it. It was just not. It was used. It belonged to someone named RS. I just assumed it was Rick Springfield because that's whose initials are on the case. It's a 90. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 1990. And it was, let's see, what is it? It was the 6th guitar made finished on the 16th of January. You can tell all of that from the serial number. Okay, so the next 6 bars, we're looking at bar 7 through 12, okay? We start with a B and an F. And so the F is going to stay. Just like before, we had an E in every one of those chords. And just so you know, like this, just these 2 notes, dyads, can still imply a triad. This basically, to me, even though there's no G in it, kind of implies an E minor chord. Okay? Right? This one, obviously with the C and E, implies a C chord. This one could imply E minor 7. It could imply E7, which is what it does. That's what it's implying when you do chopsticks. That whole step. That's a whole step right there. I love that. I love whole steps. I love. Just the sound of them are just fun, you know. Something about whole steps that just sound kind of, you know, major seconds that sound fun. All right. And then we're going to this one here. Now we have E and F. I'm sorry, B and F. And that kind of implies a G7 chord. So 2 notes, remember, that's the guide tones right there. Remember we talked about guide tones. Guide tones are just 2 notes, and that's the 3rd and the 7th of a G7 chord. So that's really all you ever need to. I'm just playing, and I'm playing. With just 2 notes, I'm implying all 3 chords in the G7 or G blues, G7, C7, and D7. So that's again no. There won't be a quiz on this. Okay, everybody take a sip. No quiz. Don't worry, you're not gonna get a quiz on guide tones. Okay, you gotta check out. This is probably one of the coolest things I own. The manager gave me this. He gave each of me and the boys our own Abbey Road coffee mugs. I should be drinking coffee out of that, but when we went to Abbey Road Studios. Okay, so all right. So we have. So what I'm doing is I'm putting an F on top of every one of these. So I'm just going to go B, C, D. We're just going up the notes on the B string that we know. Here, that middle line, the second space from the top, and then the second line from the top, which is D. And we're going to do all of that with an F on top. Okay, so look at bar 7. Here we go. 1, 2, open B, 3, 4, excuse me. 2, F, 2. And now C and F. 2, 2, 3. Now D and F. Might be a little hard. Get that F to ring out. Okay, and that also implies a G7 chord. Or a D minor. This one implies an F chord. Okay, do you see that? With just 2 notes, we can kind of imply. We're going to see that down below when we do our reggae bit. Okay? All right. Let's do that again. So B and F. 2, F. 4 now together. 2, 3, C and F. 2, 4. 2, 3. Now D and F. 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay? Oh, no worries, John. You're very, very welcome. What is the utility application? Well, for one thing, John, speed. It allows you to play through very complex changes very, very quickly. So if you have something that's, it's just like piano player, whatever. If you can do guide tones, you can apply all that. You can apply all of the crazy chords that are going by very quickly with only 2 notes. Max 2 fingers, sometimes 1 finger. And that would be the guide tones for an A minor 7. Here's an A7. Here's an A major 7. So speed is allowed. No, B to F is not a power chord because that's a tritone. B to F sharp would be a power chord. I mean, that's a variation on it. I've used that a million times. Sure, but basically, no. B to F is a tritone, not a major, not a perfect 5th. Okay. Okay, so hey, Scott Jacobs, an appreciation. Where's Appreciation? Is that Ohio? Is that right? Is that like the sister city to Defiance, Ohio? I don't want to go to Defiance, Ohio. Man, I'm almost out of coffee. I've been getting up at 6 every morning going for a run. Every morning. It's crazy. I'm an idiot. But it gives me energy all day. I've been getting so tired. I was getting so tired, and I was like, and I didn't know. I just decided, I'm going to get up early. Well, I might as well go for a run. And that whole day I had energy, and I'm like, well, that's weird. So I did it the next day, and the next day I was like, I never got tired today. What's up with that? So, yeah, Dunlop Jazz picks. Yeah, I don't have. I may have some, but I use Dunlop picks a lot. I mean, the Derlins were what I used for years. Okay, so hopefully you got that. We're going to do the next set. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit further this time. We've got 8 bars from 13 to 20, and we're going to do again. This time we're going to hold the G on top, at least for the first 6 bars. Okay, we're going to go B to G, C to G, and then D to G. We can do with our third finger laying down. So you just like that. Okay. Let's see. And the chords we're implying here, that's G, C, and G again. Of course, that could be that D to that could be G minor. It's just a fifth and a root. So there's no third in there. And there's no third in the C either. That could also imply C minor, but that would be a hard chord to play. Okay, so where am I? Bar 13. Okay, so we have B and then G. We have the C note and then the G. And we have the D note and the G. And then I go bar 19 is C and F, and then C and E. So kind of what I'm implying there is on that bar 17, it's kind of G, and then the C and F, and then is F, and then the C and E is C. So it's kind of like we could go. It's kind of a cool chord progression, actually. Okay, so what am I doing? What was it? I was playing. Anyway, I don't want to overanalyze it. I was playing double time. Okay, so here we go. B, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, G, 4, and then together. Now C and G together. And then D and G together. And then C and F. 2, 3. And you could also think of that as C sus. It kind of sounds like a kind of that kind of. Okay, now oh shoot. Come on. Wow. Went up to 4,800. Normally it's at 2,500. Okay, it looks good right now. Let's see. Sorry about that. I didn't notice it because that light's in my eyes and it's right where that where the green thing, the little box is that tells me how the stream is. Right now we're green, so I think we're good for now. All of that. Okay, here again. I've said this before. What you can do is print up 2 copies of this or more if you want. This is at the Discord. Oh, I should give you that link, huh? Let me. And we got 30 people up. That's good. Thank you for joining us. I'm copying and pasting the Discord link, and I'm going to pin it so it's there. You join the Discord, and there you can get all of the files. See, like this is just the PDF that I screenshotted to put up here. And that's all in the, what's it called? Discord. It's called Tom's Lesson PDFs, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Okay? Everything is there. You can scroll back and see We're lesson 207. You can see pretty much PDFs and pings and screenshots of all 207 lessons if there was anything related to that there, okay? So check that out. Join up. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. The only thing we ask is if you can use the same handle for Discord as you use for YouTube so we know who you are. Otherwise, you're going to get tired of answering the question, now, who is this again? So it's more for your benefit than our benefit. Okay. Now, the reason I say you could print up 2 or 3 copies of this is because you can go ahead and write, if you want to give yourself a little quiz, okay, so if you want there to be a quiz on this, so if Gary's here, I think, you say you have to do a reverse sip. But I'm not giving the quiz, you're giving the quiz. So if you want to write the letter names in, great, do it. But when you're reading, don't read from that sheet. Read from the sheet that doesn't have that. You're not going to have time when you're going to a gig or you're playing a classical piece or whatever to write it. It's going to be too messy to write. You just need to learn them and memorize them. I haven't asked you for much at this point. We've only memorized 6 notes so far. And I'm adding to the confusion by playing 2 notes at a time. But it's really worth it for you if you just try to stick to reading the notes, okay? And then, but if you want to print up one and write and then maybe print it again a week later and give yourself a second quiz, just a kind of refresher, I'm totally fine with you thinking what notes you're playing, okay? So it's real advantageous, and like at bar 13 to go, know that that's a B and that's an F, because ultimately that's going to play into understanding music theory all the better when you start to see shapes and letters and chords and scales on your fretboard. Guitar is, like I said, most people learn guitar via tablature because from a music theory standpoint, it's the instrument that makes the least sense. Even violin is in perfect fifths, so every scale you learn is very easily movable. They're all the same. But on guitar, it's like you've got to make these little micro adjustments as you go up to different shapes. Because we have a weird tuning here. We could tune the guitar in perfect fourths, but it would be almost impossible to play chords on it. Whereas scales would be at least make more sense. It wouldn't necessarily be easier, but they would make more sense if the guitar were tuned in perfect fourths. Excuse me. So basically, I want you to learn to read. Next week we're only adding 2 notes. So we'll have a total of 8 notes. We're going to add the notes on the G string. It's really just going to be the G and the A. I might add the B just so that we get that note, but there's going to be confusion as to which B you want, and that's the thing that music doesn't necessarily tell you. If it's music for guitar, then it would, because it would say if it's open B, it might not say anything because it's implied. But if they want you to play B on the 3rd string, it might tell you it's on the 3rd string. I'm talking about classical music. Or it might say what finger they want you to use. And obviously, if it was open B, you wouldn't be using a finger. Okay. I think Pepper. I forget. You're learning classical music? Are you learning to read music? Because you were doing romance? Were you reading tab? Were you reading tab or were you reading that in music? I mean, that's a lot of ledger lines. You're getting up here, that's a lot of ledger lines. I wouldn't fault a teacher for showing it to you in tab because I showed a lot of students, I think Cruz Beckham, I showed them how to play Romance for guitar via tab because it was just so much easier than trying to teach them how to read music, then play it. In tab, it can be like your 5th lesson, but if it were in music, it would be your 55th lesson. So, oh, good. Okay, good for you. So, Pepper, this is mostly redundant here. Okay, all right. Now it's gonna get a little harder, okay, because the next 8 bars, okay, you see from bar 21 to bar 28. And again, I'm going to probably take off towards the end of probably around 10:30 my time, so about an hour and a half in, because the gardeners will be here, and I want them to help me do something. Music book back there. Let's see. It's the only classical, yeah. So wait, Dennis, what do you stop sign for? Good, good, Peppers. Your teacher's starting to get you. Well, and also if you want to work on, once we get further along, if you want to work on your reading, you can go ahead and pull up all those bluegrass things, because remember I wrote it in Music N tab. So I'm not sure why Dennis told me to stop. Was there something that I missed? Yeah, this is the 4th lesson of the music reading. So if you go back 4 lessons, you'll get the E string, and then the B string, and then the E and the B string, and now we're doing E string and B string together as dyads, or little 2-note chords. I'm not... yeah. And we're, if we keep going with this, we'll kind of redo these lessons, but up the neck. So you start to learn to read up here too, and then up here, and then this is just the same as this, but up an octave. So, in fact, if I wrote 8 VA, which means up an octave, 8 and then the letter V and the letter A, which is pretty much universal music notation for up an octave, on top of this, then that would mean play everything up an octave, and you could just go 12th fret. But I'm not going to do that to you, because we don't have a lot of room on these acoustic guitars up there. Okay, so now at bar 21, we're not gonna play a tempo, I don't think, but let's just play through the chords. So 21, you've got a C and an E. Here's C and E. Okay, 2, 4. Okay. Then if you look, here's one of the things you want to do when you're reading chords like this. Look, instead of starting from scratch and going, okay, now what 2 notes do I have? Notice that the C note is still there. Okay, so it's redundant. So you already have one of the notes, so you can see that if you think of them as 2 voices, like 2 people singing, what are the people doing? Like if you were to sing this, la 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 la. Okay, you can sing the bottom line, you can sing the top note. La 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 la. You can kind of think of it that way. So if the note doesn't change, you don't really need to do anything. You just need to accommodate that other note. Okay, so the first 2 chords are the same. I kept that pretty simple. So we have 2 C's and E's, 2, and then it goes to C and F, which is lay down the finger, 2, and then I go to B and G, and if you have to, you can separate them until you got them. Oh, okay, now I got it. And then you can go again to C and E, okay, and then we have B and E, so open, C and F, D and G, and then C and F, or sorry, C and G. So I kind of implied applied those chords, kind of a C to F to G to C to E minor to F to G to C. I try to make it musical, like it would make almost sense just the dyads by themselves. Okay, so I'm going to play this a tempo. I'm going to loop this. If you can play along with me, do it. I'm at 75 beats per minute. I'm going to slow that down to 70. 1, 2, 3. That's still pretty fast. Sorry. 2, look ahead, 2, look ahead, 2, C and E, 2, B and E, 2, C and F, 2, D and G, C and G. Again, loop, C, 21, 2, 4, 2, B and G, C and E, 2, 4, open, 2, first fret, both notes of third fret, 2, hey Holly, and then C and G. Weed eating for a few minutes. You mean edibles? Holly's doing edibles? Okay, I'm going to go down to 60 now. Let's do this again, even slower. It's so slow, I'm going to subdivide it by eighth notes, okay? 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 23, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 30, I'm sorry, 27, and then bar 28, 2. Again, top 21, C and E, C and F, so bar, B and G, open B in third fret, C and E again. You should get to the point where C and E, oh, I know what that, you look at it and immediately play it. Okay, here's what's cool about chords. Okay, and I got a chord in this piece of music, this music I'm working on right now, which I can't talk about because, okay, maybe back to, here we go. Because I signed an NDA. But there's literally one chord in here, well, not one, there's multiple chords. I'm looking at it right now, and it's what I'm going to do after we're done. So I have to, and it's E flat, F, and G, or I'm sorry, E flat, F, and F sharp. So, you know, to play that chord, I'm going to have to capo. And fortunately, there's gap between some of these chords, but, right? So it's a very tight thing, something that's very easy on piano, almost really easy on piano. Like you sit on a piano and you create that chord. But on guitar, it's just, you know, I'm not gonna do it like that because I might hurt myself, and you got to do it. You know, I want to do it musical, and if I'm doing this, you know, the microphone's right here, I might go. So I'll become some part of the soundtrack. They may go, hey, that was great. Do it again. I'm like, oh, dang. But that, hey, I would be down with that because that would be SAG, Screen Actors Guild. So if my voice gets on there, that's why you'll hear like Grant Geisman, who's a session guitar player in Los Angeles. He wrote the theme and did the music for 2.5 Men. And that's why he went, men, because that way he was on the SAG contract. So he would get SAG residuals for the duration of that show. He probably makes more money from that than he does on anything else. He could work all year long on gigs, and that still wouldn't add up to the SAG residuals from men. It's amazing, huh? Let's see. Can you play chords while we play notes? Lena wants a jam. Lena wants a jam. I see what you're saying. Well, I could. I'm trying to model so if you're watching me, I want you to see. Because if I went and played chords, then you'd be like, "Oh, I got to play chords." No, I'm really wanting you to read. One of the things I was going to say though was that if you'll notice bar 21, do you see that C and E? Okay, look at that. Look at those two notes. The first chord of bar 21, all right? I bet you already think of it as that, right? So now what's happening is you're starting to read chords as if they were single notes. It's the same thing that happens when you're a little kid and you're starting to read words. You read one letter at a time. Well, that's what single notes are. But words are comprised of letters. And then as you get better as a reader, you start to read sentences instead of words. Like speed readers are reading phrases. They're not reading words. I learned sight reading, which is the worst thing. It was like I went to a very progressive school in Washington, D.C. when I was in grade school. And they would always try the newest educational, BS, whatever the newest fad was in education. And so I ended up doing sight reading, which meant when I read, I was memorizing words. And so I'm reading word like that. Where people that the 30 years before that had learned phonics, they were reading through words and sentences and phrases and paragraphs. Consequently, me and my entire much of my generation of kids that went to the school, we all get tired reading, because reading is like we're reading word to word instead of reading through, and it can't help it because that's how we learn. So I get exhausted. That's why you go to bed to read, because you go like, I'm going to read a page and I'm going to be ready to go to sleep. It's exhausting. So, but what I'm trying to teach you is, and that's the funny thing is that I read essentially phonetically when I'm reading music. I'm reading through the music like you're supposed to. And that's how you're really supposed to read words. Same way, read through it. And that's true in English. We've got a lot of foreign language speakers. I'm sure it's the same way. I'd be curious how, like Sham, I'm assuming Sham, you're in India. I'm curious how you learned to read. Did it make you memorize words by holding up cards and go something? Okay, something. Okay, cat, dog, whatever, cat, dog. And then you just read like this, and it's just exhausting. And that's not what I want you to do. When you kind of read, that's why when I said look at bar 21 and then look at bar 22, what changes? All we're doing is we're taking that E up to F. Okay? And so you should start to see that C and F as a chord all to itself, but at the same time you should see the flow of that harmony. Because as soon as we have two notes, it's called harmony. Okay? Harmony has two meanings in music. Okay? Harmony is like, oh, I'm going to sing a harmony. That means you sing one note, I'll sing a different note. And that's the same as the music harmony, but harmony in the broader sense is the chords we think of as chords. Right? Like, for example, Lena wants me to play chords, which is kind of the harmony accompaniment to these the notes that you have here. And I point this way, and of course I'm pointing the wrong over here. I keep gesturing to the chart, and it's not right. Okay, so Lena, I can do that. What I may do is I may go play the 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 2. And you can see that I can even make the chord, and within that, I play a C chord, I can just play the top two strings of the C chord, and I'm playing what's written, right? The F. Another thing, if you want to do, again, you're probably going to memorize these. So there's going to come a point where at first you're doing a lot of reading and your memory's capturing it. And then eventually your memory starts to remember it, and then you're doing less reading. Remember I told you when I tried to teach Alex how to read music, his ability to memorize was so strong that he would fool me that he was reading. He actually, within 2 times through it, he was already memorized it, and so he wasn't even reading. And sometimes it would rear its head, and I'd be like, wait a minute, you memorized it, because he would do the wrong rhythm or something. I went, wait, no, look at the music. so that's you're having some Catherine. One thing you can do is look ahead. Okay. The other thing is you can go ahead and start changing. You don't need to change at the last second. So, like, for example, you're talking about these little dyads that we're doing. 2, 4, 2, 4, 2. So as soon as you play beat 3, you could start getting your hands ready for beat 2. Okay, it's not proper as far as the actual duration of the note. These are all half notes. They should ring to the end of the bar, but the problem is really like if you look at flute music, horn or woodwind music, okay, they'll have this little comma every now and then, right? If you look closely at their chart, not the score, but if you look at their chart, there'll be a comma in there every now and then. The comma is a breath mark, okay? Unless they have circular breathing technique like Dizzy Gillespie had with the big jowls, unless they have that, they have to take a breath, okay? Well, with guitar, the implication is that we have to take a breath. We can't, not like piano. Piano, you can play a chord, hit the pedal will hold the chord. You can get your hand over the next chord 4 beats ahead of time, and then as you hit the next chord, you can lift your foot off the pedal and put it down again, disengage and re-engage the sustain pedal, and then take your hand off and do that. We don't have that. We don't have that ability on the guitar. Okay, so there is the assumption that there will be a gap between chords. Now there shouldn't be a gap between there. Okay, but everyone should expect. I've been told, why are you putting a gap between the chords? And I'm like, one time that happened with a composer, and I said, dude, because he was a piano player, he just didn't even understand the concept that why can't you just immediately be on the next chord? I'm like, I have to make it, right? Like my friend Michiko, who's a phenomenal piano player, she said even a cat can play piano, but you actually have to do both parts of it. Like imagine having to, on a piano to actually tune the strings or lengthen the strings for each chord or each note you want to play. Well, that's what I'm doing here. So I can't instantly. So don't worry about, Catherine, don't worry about instantly changing. That's the goal, okay? Also, if you notice the MIDI changes, like here, all we're doing from there to there is that. And then if you look ahead, see, I got a gap. If you listen to me play, my gap is just going to be quicker or shorter than yours. This should be pretty easy. And again, we're talking about dyads, two note chords. Now, I could be doing dyads on 2 separate, non-adjacent strings. And that would be harder because you can't really strum a dyad that's on adjacent strings. But with a pick, we can play dyads with non-adjacent strings. And we'll probably do that with the G string as well, okay? Sorry, fingers had to get happy there for a second. Okay, all right, we're moving on. Bar 29 to the end of that line. So it's I don't even know why I did that, but I think it's just a very simple melodic phrase, okay? So it's this, and then, so it kind of implies, G, C, G, and then C, F, C. Kind of fun. Basically, 2 different cadences. The 5/1 cadence, and I forget the names of them. It's been 40 years since music school. More than that, 42 years since music school. But I think John or actually Sam actually knows the names of these. But the 5/1 cadence and the 4/1. I always call the 4/1 the Amen, right? Amen. Okay, so this is just a very simplistic G, C, kind of a simplistic version of these cadences. So, okay, so let's play 29, B and G, and then put your first finger. Notice that the G. Look across the top line there. See the top? Those 2 bars. The top note doesn't change. Do you see that? Those 2 bars. So that should speed everything up. Now you're really only reading 1 string. All right? At least for those 2 bars. It's those kind of little clues that you can look. Hey, Joseph, it's those kind of clues that can make reading a little bit easier. You can make it easier on yourself. 2, and then to C and G, and then D and G. 2, 3, 4. Again, B and G, C and G, and then D and G. Okay, so the top notes stay the same. Now, the next two bars, the second note, the second string note stays the same. There's a C on every one of those. We have G, F, and E on top, but it's 3 C's in the bottom. The 3 blind mice? No. I don't know. Okay. So we have C and G, which we had before. Oh, my Gardner's here. Dang it. Okay. F and C. And then C and E. C and G, C and F, and C and E. Okay? All right. So let's practice that just one more time. I can loop it here. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, I meant to loop it. 4. 2, 3, 4. 2. Okay. All right, now let's do the next phrase, which is bar 33 to bar 40. Okay, which is all those quarter notes with the quarter note rest. Okay, the rhythm of that. I'm going to go back up to 75 for the rhythm of this. Okay, because we're just gonna clap. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It's what you would call a backbeat. This is how you clap on a song, not on 1 and 3 like the white churches. 2 and 4 like the black churches do. Okay. 1, 2. That's the rhythm here. Okay. So I'm going to play this 2, 3, 4. And here's a case where we have time to change, Catherine, because we have rest. I'm not sure what he's working on. 1. 1. Now, I may take off here and have you practice. Okay? So you notice I'm doing 4 of each of these chords. So what I'm going to have you do, so we can stay together for a little bit longer, I'm going to go ahead and talk to the Gardeners right now. You guys practice. There'll be no one here. I can leave the click going. Turn this light off for now. That does help, though, I think, to give light on it. So if you want a click, this is 75 beats per minute. You want a click, it's right here. If not, mute this and practice. You can start reading all of this, okay? Or print it up, okay? I'll be right back, hopefully. All right, I'm back. Oh man, I've got like 60 viewers. No, I'm just kidding. How many am I down to? Oh my goodness, I still got 30. You guys are hilarious. Hilarious. It didn't drop down at all. You guys were practicing. Steve Barry, what are you saying here now? Anyone trying tuning a guitar like this? Seventh harmonic E and A. That would be the B and E. Yeah, tuning is always kind of one of those things. Ninth, oh, I see, ninth fret, D and G, open B. I think what Steve's saying, if I hit this note, generally, and then open. Generally, I mean, I use a tuner, but I also will do what I call temper tuning. We are hypnotized. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear me talking to him. I'm like my pidgin Spanish. Solamente uno, it's like, oh, it's so funny. Yeah, it's not a tuning. Talk about using harmonics tune. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do. Well, I'll do when I'm playing classical, I'll do what my guitar teacher taught me, which was octaves. And you go up and then backwards too, so that kind of creates a little bit more because the guitar is not perfect. Although the funny thing is, the tuning system was developed by someone named Strahle. Same spelling, Strahle or Strahle or something like that. And they deviated for a while. There were, 100 years where they tuned, and I don't want to say his name because it's a derogatory term for someone who's gay, but that was what his name was. So, so it was called the blank tuning. It rhymes with maggot. so the guitars were tuned with this like maggot tuning for a while, and then this guy Strahle came along and said, no, actually, he made some adjustments to the original tempered tuning for guitar, and that's the tuning that we basically use now. But not on guitar. No tuning. Pianos aren't even tuned perfectly. There are people that have done videos of if you tune guitar to perfect or piano to like the thirds are perfect, and the fourths and fifths and perfect and everything. You get to the octave and it's like wider than it's supposed to be or something like that. There's also people that claim that 432 should be what everything's tuned to, not 440. 432 is harmonic with the universe, and I've seen videos on that, and those are more like QAnon kind of things. Those are pretty weird, crazy things. So, but I will do what I call temper tuning, which means if I'm going to play up here, I will tune these notes. So I have the tuner out, and if those notes are in tune, then I know that this general area is going to be in tune. So I'll tune whatever. Sometimes I'll just tune one chord. If I'm just going to play a chord, something that's specific, I may tune those notes, make sure they're perfect, or as perfect as I can get them. So. Let's see, Sam. You guys are going on about distortion boxes, things like that, or effects pedals. Boost. Oh, you talk about trying to get that your. It's funny, John, because normally the older you get, the more high-end hearing you lose, and so I'm not saying you're old, but I am, and I know with my high-end hearing, I tend to over-brighten things because I'm not hearing the top-end stuff as clearly as I should. Okay, so let's look at this bar 33. We got this reggae thing. There's basically 4 chords in 8 bars, all right? The first chord is this C and F, all right? Then it's D and G, then it's C and G, and then it's C and E. And you could think harmonically I'm playing C to A minor. Okay. So that's kind of the harmony I'm thinking. So here we go. In fact, Lena, you could have jammed along with that. But so we got 1, 2, 3, and remember to keep them short because there's a rest. You got to remember the rest. Okay, 3, 4, 1, 2. Again, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. 1, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. John, do you have tinnitus? 1. 1, 3. 1, C and E or C and G. Sorry. 1, 3, C and E. 1, and then C and F. C and G. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, I can totally understand the hearing loss, John, from the whining, drilling all day long. And you really probably aren't using earplugs or ear protection when you're doing that. Obviously, you're wearing, dentists were the first ones I ever saw wearing masks. They were the first back in the day. That pretty much came about, John, probably around the time of AIDS, right? If I'm not mistaken. Because my dentist, when I was a kid, obviously never wore a mask. Although I think he wore a mask when he was drilling because it would be dust in the air and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, I have horrible tinnitus. So I just am pretty good at not fixating on it. I can't wait for a cure. It's really oddly more of a mental thing than a physiological thing. I have hearing loss, and then my tinnitus is pretty much ringing the frequencies that I can't hear, which is ironic. Oh, funny. I'm still... Alex I got to text Alex. Hold on. He's calling. Almost done though. Okay, now there's again the last 4 bars, so we're almost to the end of this. All right, the last 4 bars are D and E, C and E, and then G. I'm sorry, my brain just shut up. B and F, and C and E. Now you'll notice I don't. Well, there is some bars, 29, where I actually. That's the only time I think I change 2 chords in a bar. Okay, so I tried to keep it pretty simple. So let's see. So let's read those again. The 41. So we got that. That's the chopsticks thing. So I have D and E, 2, C and E, 2, 2, 4, 2, or just actually 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4. All right. So the the thing you want to start to do, like I said, we're just doing 2-note. I'm not going to do 3-note chords on next week. We're going to learn a G string, but I'm probably going to do I'm probably going to do single note lesson. So it's going to be kind of notes, and then I might bring in eighth notes into the equation. Okay, or quarter notes going to, I may bring in eighth notes because learning 2 new notes on the G string is not going to really be a too hard of a lesson. Although having a total of 8 notes might be. So we'll toy with that. I'll figure that out this weekend or next week and come up with a lesson. And then we may do some 2-note chords on the G and B string, and then some 3-note chords, and that may be the next week's lesson. Okay. And if I do eighth notes, we're not going to be moving notes so much. It won't be da 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 da. It'll be da 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 da. It'll be 8 C's and 8 G's and 8 B's or whatever, and it'll be pretty darn simple. But you'll just get used to reading those eighth notes because they can be a little intimidating at first. And you think that's intimidating. I mean, here's some music that I've got to read in about, as soon as we log off, I got to work on this. So you can see, like, here was one. This is look at this thing. Now there's a bunch of eighth notes, and they're all kind of the same note except they're F natural and F sharp. So it's kind of all over the place, but it's just kind of the it's part of music. So John. Okay, John, check back later. That's awesome. I didn't know John was a dentist. I think I knew that and I just forgot. I should, and then when I'm in, I should go to John when I'm in Louisville next time. John can do some work. Actually, I was thinking about getting braces. I mean, not braces, but Invisalign for my. These teeth just got all crooked when that retainer got taken out when I was just before I moved out to California years ago. Matthew Scott, blessings. Thank you to you. No worries. Go be safe. Mamba, good to see you there. I haven't done shout outs. Sorry. Kind of got right into the lesson once I could. Thanks for sticking around. Hilarious that you guys, I got up to like 40 when I left the room for like 10 minutes. But that thing is stupid heavy. It's like, golly, but it's working now, but it's at a little bit of an angle, so I shimmed it wrong. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Because this thing weighs a ton, and it's in 3 pieces, and each piece weighs a ton. So I should have balanced it, and I should have gotten the level out. I may have to take the whole thing apart and start over again. Maybe when the gardener's here next week, I'll take out the level and do it right, and again bring them some extra money. So anyway, yep. Goodbye, Roger. I didn't even see you in here. You were lurking. Everybody started to take off. Yep, you're sensing I'm winding down. So another good lesson. You know what I haven't looked at is to see how those lessons have been doing. Where is it? Here. The live stream. How are these lessons doing? I know the first one was like, got like up to 800 and something pretty quick. Oh, I'm live right now. Okay, music reading, yeah. So 860. So it's pretty much where it was. Then 627, 631, and this one's at 277. But it will go up. Now let me just make sure there's not a million ads in the last one, because I don't do that. YouTube does. Nope, they didn't. Okay, so I won't make a lot of money if there are no ads. So what I do is I put an ad in every 30 minutes. If they do it, they put it in every 5 minutes. Okay, which is ridiculous. But I just kind of grab 3 spots really quick. I don't really time them. They just show up. Nobody really sits down. I mean, sometimes I'll film a video with the intention that I'm going to make this an ad break, because I know the video is going to be over a certain amount. I filmed, so I've got a couple videos. We'll see if they come out. One has 10 days left on the copyright infringement thing. I contested it because there was no way. I literally, it's just chords. And it's the Bluegrass Jam in A. And the cool thing was I decided this time to put a lot of information in there. Let me check 2 weeks ago and see how we're doing the monetization. Okay. Manage mid-rolls. All right, good. Perfect. All right. So we're good there. And so I did it in A and immediately got copyright infractions from 2 different publishing companies. I'm like, this is complete bunk. And I contested and said, no, I actually literally played this today, recorded its 2 guitars. I recorded, and I added mandolin thinking, oh, if I add mandolin, it shouldn't trigger anything. So halfway through the 10-minute track, a mandolin comes in, like my Gibson's on one side, the Martin's on the other, and then the mandolin comes in the middle about halfway through, about 5 minutes in. And I just subtly mixed in there, and it's just strumming. I even say, okay, on the left side is this, and the right side is this. And on the left side, I'm playing capoed first, second fret, and using G, C, and D shapes. And with the other guitars, using open A, open tuning, or no capo, which is standard tuning. A chord, D chord, E chord, right? The 1, 4, 5 in the key of A. And then I made sure the bass line wasn't too redundant. So that took some time, and then I made sure the drums weren't too redundant, so it wasn't just like a loop. So I was thinking, okay, well now it should not trigger the copyright thing, and whenever you upload, as soon as it's uploaded, it says, oh, copyright infringement. So I wrote out little, you contest it, and again, you only get 3, and so I had to contest 2. So if I lose these, which I can't imagine I'd lose them, then that's 2 strikes against me, and you're only allowed 1 more, and then they take down your channel. So, but I've never lost one of these. I don't know if they ever even address it. It's basically a 30-day clock, and once that ticks down, if they don't deal with it, I figure if these are big mega corporations and they're looking at a video, like this, then they're probably not going to have time to deal with it and read my notes and all that stuff. I should probably write like this 10-paragraph thing and then copy and paste it in there. And that way they'll look at it and just go, oh, forget it. I'm not going to read all this. But so far, the time on every one of these that I've done, it's just they've never unflagged it. The time has run out. So I end up winning in that scenario, as I should. So I'm waiting to post that. I'm not going to post it because I can't monetize it. And they would be putting ads everywhere. And see, even though I make a lot less money if I don't put ads in it, the whole point of a jam track is that you've got, and I make it like 11 minutes long. The whole point is that you can jam and you can get, because sometimes it takes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes until you all are in that zone. I mean, I wish I could make them go 30 minutes. I should do 30-minute jams. But the idea is that you're trying to work through, learn some scales or come up with some melodic ideas or learn how to solo or improvise, work on different tricks and tips and things like that. And so in this one, I also give a lot of scale ideas too. So that's the fun. I've never done that before. So I'm hoping that will actually lead to a lot of views. Okay, the other thing, I got another video that I uploaded that did contain copyright music, and it was the making of Apex Legends. And I don't know if I posted this, but where am I? Here. New YouTube. I'm going to post this on the Discord. I'm not sure if I did this, but and where should I post it? Let's see. Your own stuff, I guess. Not really. I'll put it in general. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Holly's working. Oh, man. Dang. Yeah, you kind of got to do that. Holly's probably not here anymore. She's back at work, back to work. But yeah, you kind of got to do that because of the fire hazard where she lives. You really got to stay ahead of that stuff. Fuse music. Here it is. So this music is really cool. And so I did the making of one of these cues, and very guitar heavy, very 80s or 70s rock kind of vibe. So check that out if you haven't. But I did a video, like a 30-minute video on the making of this, and kind of how I did it, and sent it to the composer. And he's like, oh, this is so cool. We need to all contribute. So he's going to actually contribute and film a video to go along with it. And then I think the engineer at Capitol Records is going to actually do a video about how he did what he did. And so it's going to be, it'll end up being about 90 minutes. It'll end up being like a documentary or something. And I'm like, wow. But they're actually, I think they're really, it's cool. So it could potentially blow up my channel. But it may not be on my channel, but they'll link to my channel. So it'll be on the Apex Legends channel or the EA Gaming channel or something. So I think it's fascinating stuff. It's pretty inside baseball stuff. You guys saw the thing I did on Benny Maine's song, Son of My Eyes. It's kind of like that, only longer, I think. And then, so that one, funnily enough, it did not get a copyright strike, even though I was playing Barton's music on it, but it was his demo, so it wasn't the final mix. So I don't know. And I think the gaming thing is different with whatchamacallit, because they the gaming thing is different with YouTube, because people post videos of them gaming, and so I think they set the copyright thing to not be an issue. In fact, there was an issue at first, and I remember Stephen having to deal with that. So because he wants people to post videos of them playing the games because it promotes the game, which helps everybody. So anyway. So yeah, so I've done all the guitars for Apex Legends, basses, guitars, and everything, and I'm working for that composer right now. As soon as I hang up here, I've got to get to work. So I am going to do that. I think this light helped. I'm just got to make sure the battery's charged, but I think that helped you being able to see my hands better, which I really like. All right. So next Wednesday we're going to learn new string. We're going to learn the G string. No jokes. G and A, 2 notes. We only have to learn 2 notes on that. So we'll learn those 2 notes, and then we'll do a review of all 3 strings, okay? And I won't put chords in there. I might outline chords individual as single notes, all right? So you'll start to see that. But I won't put in chords with 3 notes in it. We're not going to do 3-note chords yet, but the next week we'll. So 2 weeks from now we'll be doing triads. So today was dyads. And this is a great lesson. This is a great introduction to starting to read 2 notes at once and not being too afraid of them. And like I said, you'll start to see 2 notes as at once. You'll see them together and go boom. Just like you see individual notes. You'll see 2 notes as single notes. Or you'll see 3 notes as single notes. Or eventually, it's just like you look at the word it, and you don't read I-T, it. You just read it. And that's exactly what's going to happen with music reading. You're going to start to read things in phrases and like words and phrases. So chords and phrases. Both have phrases. All right. So thank you so much for joining in. I'm going to end here. Thanks for being patient with me while I stepped away to do the deal with the gardener stuff. You helped me. Like I said, I'll post maybe a picture of the fountain. It's kind of